So in this video, I hope to illustrate and help to make things a bit more clear and understandable when looking at the actual mechanics of what really shows up in the world a lot as, say, like spirituality, and what people conceptualize this as, and as this relates to their soul, and as this relates to grander sort of religious ideas. And the first most important thing to understand is that generally 99 point whatever percent of the time, people are taking the cause for the problem to try to get rid of the problem, but they're trying to rearrange it in slightly different ways. So what I mean by that is the big idea is that we are all shaped and molded and influenced by our environment. This is true of any organism, any living thing. There's a relationship between the environment and the organism. Obvious. This is even more impactful as human beings as we operate in such a mental way based on abstraction and psychology and reflection and self-awareness and this idea that we have this individual self. So if we go up the scale of ideas, hierarchy of influential concepts, really at the baseline, at the foundational operating system level, we have in modern times basically Judeo-Christian monotheism. And if we were to say strip away all of the leaves and the branches and the superficial higher level things and actually get down to the roots or the actual mechanics, nuts and bolts of it, meaning like right now I'm filming this on a Mac that has a certain type of operating system which only certain things will run on. Maybe you have a Windows, maybe you have other things, Android, and maybe that is a different kind of operating system. And that operating system taken all the way down at certain basic mechanics and certain basic functions. That's what we're looking at. We're not talking about, well, religion's okay because it helps people be good people and it gives people a sense of being nice. It's like that. You really believe that? Like what you're really saying is people are inherently pieces of shit, but because they read a book or someone tells them they should be good, then that means that's like a good thing. Historically, that's actually not the case, because historically, if we look at a lot of the actual violence and negative things that have happened on the planet, it's been in the name of some deity or in the name of some god or at the command of some ruler who is claiming to be more connected to a deity or somehow expressing the will of a deity on the planet. That's just sort of what has happened in human history and what is still happening in the world. But inherently, most people are pretty good and pretty chill, it seems like, just as they are. We have these type of inherent things. So that's a different type of philosophical debate or philosophical thread. But inherently, it's relevant to what we're talking about. So getting back to the point, talking about the actual basic mechanics, what is underlying it. Really, the functionality is, first, like we were just pointing at, you're a piece of shit. And left to yourself, you're disgusting, you're a sinner, you're unconscious, you're not enlightened, you have bad karma, you're gonna ruin the world, you're gonna hurt yourself, you're gonna do all these things, but, you know, there's a way out. There's a path to salvation. There's a Messiah who's already forged the way, and he's going to show you, you know, what's good. That's just bullshit. I mean, that is saying that like children would come out of the womb just purely evil, and like until they went to church the first time, there was going to be a big transformation. But in actuality, that's not the case. So I remember going to church and being like, why are everyone such assholes? Why are they completely contradicting themselves all the time? Why are they completely lying to themselves and completely deluded? That was my experience with pretty much. Anyways, going back to the point, the actual mechanics that we're talking about, we have this idea you're a piece of shit, so you're somehow bad or stained, right? But the actual mechanics at how these things start to play out is, obviously, I'm not good enough. So now I need external validation. I need something from outside of me to give me value, to give me salvation, to give me these things that I don't have in and of myself. So basically, on a very practical level, what that does is completely undermine your immune system, undermine the basic functioning of your body, because you're taking your center and you're giving it to someone else who is probably doing the exact same thing. So it creates this ridiculous cycle. So that's the first, and the other tertiary mechanics are guilt, shame, blame. And that tends to make us view the world in a very stupid way. Meaning, it's like, okay, in a health example, basically in a large psychological sense, people are just operating like a witch hunt. Oh, I experienced this thing. Oh, I gotta find out why. Oh, I found the evil cause. And if I just get rid of the evil cause, then this thing won't occur anymore. And it's still just mirroring and playing out the witch hunt. Kind of like taking it back to a smaller scale, a lot of the patterns and things we see growing up as children in terms of relationship dynamics, we will reflect and mirror back out for maybe the rest of our lives. We never even get in touch with it, or at least in some fashion. Or it's just like if you like watch a show and then all of a sudden that show starts showing up in your life, or you start making jokes or making references to the show. Like there's so many ways in which the things that we consume are so influential, but we're so disconnected because of what this foundational thing is telling us about ourselves and the world, meaning you're somehow cut off or separate from the world, but if you follow this golden path, and you'll be somehow magically reunited. So you get people talking this stupid fucking bullshit of like, this is a real healing thing of someone getting back to their soul. And if we actually look at the mechanics, what do they mean by soul? They generally mean some grandiose, rearranged version of Christianity combined with some vague emotional, sentimental quality. That's what people actually mean in a functional, practical sense. And it's all occurring generally here, and it's very masturbatory. What do I mean by masturbatory? So there is the actual physical act of having sex and having relationships with another person. That's one way. Or we can close our eyes and stroke ourselves or touch ourselves and visualize the same thing. Masturbatory. It's all happening in here. It has nothing to do with the other person. It's generally how people are operating in the world, and especially in terms of spirituality in religion, it's inherently masturbatory. I'm connecting with my soul. I'm connecting with my soul here, but this position's better than this position, then it's better than this position or any other position, because this is the special one, because that's spiritual, because I saw it and someone told me. Yes, maybe, but generally masturbatory. So getting back to the point, I just recently saw something on Facebook which sparked this whole thing. It was so fucking hilarious. Let's see if I can find it. It's literally some shit about a guy tripping his face off on ayahuasca, and he was talking to the moon, so he wrote a book about the shit the moon told him. And then, of course, what's the cover image? A masterful fusion of ancient wisdom and modern modalities to reconnect the soul. It's exactly mirroring the same bullshit mechanics that I'm talking about. And the reason why people can keep continually writing books about it and keep people coming to their seminars is because people are still operating at the exact same level from which they started, because they're using the problem, i.e. this inherent programming, this inherent conditioning, which is causing their problems. So they're using those exact same mechanics and slightly rearranging them, meaning like, oh, well, I'm not Christian anymore. Now I'm just open and spiritual. I'm just open to being led and guided by spirit. I'm a Buddhist now, so I'm not attached, and I don't have nice things, and I judge and criticize myself for judging and criticizing myself and judging and criticizing other people, and I just created a whole other layer of delusion and lying to myself. But I'm not going to actually examine my pre-existing conditioning, my pre-existing foundations, because those are the actual root causes, and who wants to bother with that shit? Because that, let's just keep buying books and keep reconnecting with our soul and trying to grasp at, ancient vague bullshit ideals which probably have actually no basis in reality. So one example of that is people will say things like, oh, in ancient times people were just didn't have as much stress and they were just more spiritual, and they all sat around and jacked themselves off and listened to Kumbaya, and they were just nice to each other. It's like, have you never read history? Like, are you, I mean, how completely in your delusion are you? An example of this is like in a lot of Chinese history. Let's say you were a scholar, right? Okay, so the penalty of you, let's say, messing up could be you die, or you torture and then you die. Your entire family gets tortured and then they die, or something perhaps even worse. That's the penalty of you messing up. Do you think that would be stressful? Maybe. That's just one example. We could look at other systems, other historical times, other places in society. In fact, yeah, there was maybe stress. It's maybe a little bit different than like, oh my god, I only got 7 likes on my Facebook. That sucks. My day's ruined. Yeah, it's a slightly different form of stress, but not this ridiculous fantasy fairy tale Disneyland mythology. So this is really the underlying functioning, the underlying operating system that I've made so many videos about and talked about at length, but generally it's met with this. Like, what? You're an asshole. You're mean. That's cruel. You're not compassionate. It's like, what? Like, how are we getting from A to B? Like, oh, I said words and you felt a thing, so that somehow makes me those things, when everything I'm saying is true. So I'm somehow like obliged in the situation to like feel bad, or like, oh, I offended their sacred beliefs. This is the other aspect and the other part of the delusion that we are sold, is that here's life, regular life. In some areas, spirituality and religion, it's up here. You can't put it into words. You can't talk about it. You can't quantify it. It's subjective. It's your own thing. It's up to you. It's your own relationship with the divine. It's this and that. I mean, no, it's not. It's not actually true. And that serves a purpose, because then you don't question it. It's like, oh, you mean I'm gonna suffer my entire life this time, but maybe next one it'll be better? Yeah. Oh, okay. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. It has no practical, logical, any type of pragmatism. But I'm just supposed to believe it. Yeah. Oh. Okay. Like, yeah, alright. So then gets us to our final point. People are like, oh, well, the solution to humanity's problems is people need to reconnect with nature and reconnect with their soul and be more spiritual, and then everyone will be nice, and then we'll have a better world. That's the real problem. That's the solution. What that means is everyone needs to connect with their own personal delusion, go deeper into their own masturbatory fantasies and their own line of purely subjective nonsense. And that's going to fix real problems. Oh, you just need to love it. You just need to open your heart. You just need to be nice. No, that's called, your boundaries are shitty, and they're going to get shittier. And your probably immune function is going to keep going down, and your adrenal function is going to keep going down, and your digestive function is going to keep going down, and you're going to keep buying stuff, and keep buying stuff, and keep on the and then eventually maybe someone will come along and pat you on the back, but really it's going to be a group of like martyrs and masochists that, gather and want to, what's the word? Want to flagellate themselves and somehow feel special or feel superior because they're spiritual. Really not the point. Really has not a lot to do with anything other than people's pure delusion. what might be more functional and useful is be like, oh, maybe if you were less self-deluded about yourself, you might be more connected and present to what is actually happening in your experience, then you could respond more accurately to what that actually is, thus mitigate issues and problems. Then you develop the capacity of understanding and seeing something for what it is, then you can avoid it in the future. Perhaps that sounds a bit more functional and realistic than a bunch of vague nonsense. Meaning the reason why perhaps people might feel whatever inspires someone to want to read a book by someone who was like literally on drugs talking to the moon. Whatever would inspire, whatever deep level of delusion and psychosis and schizoid tendencies would motivate someone to be like, oh, I can't wait. Oh, it's going to be so good. Oh, I can't wait to read this. It's going to be, what did this guy say? Hold on. It's going to be a masterful fusion of ancient wisdom and modern modalities to reconnect the soul. I mean, that's all the buzzwords right there. If you just put that on something, people are like, oh, yes. Oh, my masturbatory fantasies. I'll have fantasies of ancient wisdoms. And I have fantasies of modern modalities. And I can reconnect with the soul. Oh. But it's like, wait. Do you understand? That's all based on things that aren't really true or real or any based in reality. Like the fact that there's actually a hierarchy which somehow separates you from things. That's not really true. That you're an actually individual in the sense that you believe you are. Absolutely not true. It's not true whether you believe it or not. It's not spiritual. It's not a higher idea. It's just fucking looking at your situation as it is and understanding things in terms of relationships because that's what they are. But that is predicated on perhaps just a touch more honesty. Anyways, this video's probably off the rails at this point. But I guess the last thing is just the actual functional sense of getting in touch with the actual dynamics that are actually underlying the situation. Here's a big one. So recently there's a big thing of like, well, let's say I had a friend. Had many friends, right? And they get really on board with specific isms. I'm gonna say which ones. And they're like, oh, we gotta make all this social change. We gotta change the world, and we gotta rework institutions. We gotta do all these things, make all this external change, which might not be wrong, might not be right. I don't know. Complex situation. What is actually more tangibly real and true and functional for the person is be like, hey, are you aware that you just hate people of the opposite sex? I mean, that's just what you think. That's what you feel. And you also hate yourself. You think you're a piece of shit because of you have a certain body part. So you think you're a piece of shit. And you think somehow self-love or self-care or being an ism or changing the world or holding up signs or going to protests, that's going to influence either of those two things? Never probably will. Obviously, yes, self-love and self-care, really important, basic things. Yes, of course. The point is actually starting to see what's the actual underlying thing and being honest and okay with that. And actually being able to have a sense of fucking humor about it. Because this is also the other side effect of people's deeply conditioned Judeo-Christian monotheism bullshit is everyone's fucking morbid and just dull and just, everything's, oh, I gotta work on it. Oh, thanks so much for bringing that to my attention. I'm gonna work on it. What does that mean? You're gonna sit in a corner and like mull it over in your head for 6 hours and flagellate yourself. Oh, it's just another example of how you're not good enough. But don't look at that. No, just double down your efforts and show up in the world as a shining example of what you want to be and change the world and really be your isms. Like, no, how about be a fucking person? Everyone has these types of feelings and emotions and experiences, regardless if they have a penis, if they have a big one, a small one, a medium one, a thick one, a fat one, if they have huge breast, big, small, whatever size and shape, if they're tall or they're short, if they're skinny or they're fat. People have all of this bullshit, right? So on a very simple level, if we can actually develop a sense of humor about things, not taking things so fucking seriously and morbidly, and then actually getting more in touch with the actual underlying dynamics of who and what we are and how we're actually showing up. Wow, wouldn't that be something? And usually it's pretty darn simple. It's a bit more clear. And it's more of an attitudinal quality than it is necessarily an external thing. But sometimes it's almost too simple. And it's because we live in such a distorted system that like sometimes shit like this just can't even make sense. Because the Pavlovian conditioning is so deep towards fear and guilt and anxiety and not good enough and looking for, the witch hunt. Like, because that's the thing is people are like, oh, the world is the way it is. We went on a witch hunt and we found out that it's just white men, and that's the problem. So you're a white man, so you're a piece of shit, and we just went for the witch hunt and we found our solution. It's like, yeah, there's a lot of fucking scumbags on the planet throughout history. Some of them have been white men, not all of them. Perhaps a lot of them have been men, yeah, but realistically it's been shitty for everyone. Like, just because you had a penis didn't mean that it was necessarily better or worse for you in any way, shape, or form. It's just generally been shitty for a lot of people for a long time in slightly different ways, but generally pretty much everyone's been oppressed. Pretty much everyone's been mechanized and controlled and manipulated and shit on, like, for quite a long time. So that's a bit more accurate. Yeah, but it's a little bit less. See, what happens is these things are basically scapegoats, or not scapegoats, but Trojan horses for people's agendas. Like, just pick a social agenda, and if you basically look at the person and reverse it back, you can generally see what the actual thing is and why they're actually doing it, and they're trying to medicate something. Like, I mean, when I first moved to Portland, I really first encountered this thing, and now I'm going on a bit of a tangent. But I really first encountered this whole thing of like being hated and resented for who I am. I just didn't understand it, and it really confused me for a while. Because in some ways I'm a little bit stupid, because I just don't operate in that way. Like, I mean, I might make fun of a ton of shit all the time, but I'm not going to treat anyone necessarily in a disrespectful or mean way. I'm basically just going to meet people halfway and treat them how they treat me with a certain degree of openness. Like, it doesn't matter anything, right? So I just didn't understand that, because it was like, oh, on the surface they're like, oh, I'm progressive, I'm a feminist, I'm conscious, I'm awake, I'm doing all these things, and I meditate, and I do yoga, but then actually they're doing the thing that they're the alternative to. So they're just like prejudiced and racist against people. So it took me a while to realize that. But anyways, why I mention is I would have conversations that were going on and on about, I'm doing this feminism thing, and I'm going to this thing, I'm doing this thing, and this thing, and this thing, and they're just going on and building it up. And I'll just be like, so what age were you raped? And then it was like, oh, this age. I'm like, okay, so that's really what this is about. So it's not about all of these things. It's about you had this traumatic experience that you're trying to heal but you're going about it in kind of the least efficient way because you want everyone else to heal. You want everyone else to be responsible for it. You want everyone else to be whatever, but yourself, you don't actually want to handle it yourself, which I mean, I can get it. Totally, it's a shitty, absolutely shitty, fucking terrible thing. Completely horrible. Like, yes. So I can understand how people would get to where they want to go. Because, I have my own traumas. I've been through my own things. Through, actually, quite a lot of my life has been quite a few traumas physically, emotionally, mentally. I'm not going to get into them because it kind of gets to be this weird thing that happens that people do now. They want to like argue about the trauma. Oh, well, mine's worse. You don't know what it's like. Mine's worse. I've dated women like that. They're like, oh, you don't know. You don't know what it's like. Mine's way worse. And I'm like, that's true. We have different life experiences, yeah, but ultimately, like, we're human and we're in this relationship and we should like try to be intimate and help and support each other and whatever, but which I understand we can communicate about this, but ultimately there needs to be a functional actual dynamic. So anyways, this is a story, an example, but you look at 30 to 40 years of this anger and this delusion and this unwillingness to actually be personally responsible and accountable and actually get in touch with the underlying mechanics of our experience and our situation, regardless of what it is. Stretch that out for a long enough period of time, and then that's our life. That's what I'm saying. It's like, cool, yeah, these things are great and handy and useful, but we have to actually look forward. We actually just pull ourselves up from staring at the ground and look up and look out and see that this trend, that this dynamic will lead somewhere. So perhaps this one might not lead necessarily. It's like 30 years of bad posture, right? Like today I could just sit like this in the computer and I'd be like, what's the big deal? I'm tired. I deserve it. I get all angry. It's like, yeah, but you sit like that long enough and then that's your default. And then for you to get out of it, it's going to be even more difficult. And then you're building that. You're training that into your body. You're telling your body, hey, this is what's up, guys. This is what we need to do. So what is the long-term benefit of that? But the thing is a lot of what we have in the world right now is just immature, childish nonsense. Both, in 18 to 20 something, but also grown fucking adults. Like, what grown adult is gonna like get an email and be like, hey man, I just wrote a book about my experiences on ayahuasca when I was like tripping my face off talking to the moon. What adult gets an email like that? Yeah, I was just wondering if you would like read it and write a review for it. Oh, so you were tripping your face off for years on drugs, absolutely, talking to the moon, and you wrote a book about it. So I'm gonna endorse that. Yeah. What adult is like? And then what adult says a masterful fusion of ancient wisdom and modern modalities to reconnect the soul? When in reality, whatever that ancient wisdom is the same shit 100 other people have said it in the same or slightly different way, because they're just reorganizing and slightly rearranging and rebranding the pre-existing Judeo-Christian bullshit. So that's what I mean by childishness in a way. But also another side of it is like young people who, have never done anything. Like this is just being, I'm going to be completely personal, whatever, just like, I would hang out with people, right? And they're like railing, either being personally disrespectful or offensive to me. Like, okay, for example, I was dating someone and they just laid into me and projected their sort of man-hating on me. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, you're 20-something. You've been supported by your parents your whole life. Actually, another woman I knew was 30 something, been supported by her parents her whole life. And they're railing and leaning into me about all types of shit. And I'm like, you haven't done a motherfucking thing in your life. Like, you haven't fucking lived. Like, you're not an independent person. You've never like worked or grabbed for anything. Like, you've had the safety net of either your parents or the government or some big father figure in your life your whole life. Like, you have no sense of individuation because you haven't done that. You're still a product of this environment because you're still dependent on the environment. You're still breastfeeding. You're still nursing from either the conditioning of the pre-existing Judeo-monotheism. You're still breastfeeding from that weak handicap of a paradigm, or financially, socially, whatever, from your parents or some other institution. But you're going to have all these grandiose views about how the world should be and how things should be and how people should be and why things are the way they are. But it's like, you haven't done anything. You haven't contributed anything. So like what the fuck are you even talking about? And maybe this is it's a bit mean or weird to say, but it happens in another thing where, like, for example, there's this dickwad on my Facebook who just continually posts this like passive-aggressive, really arrogant, stupid bullshit, which I understand because it's like, that's what happens when you're young. You think you know all the shit. But it's like, you haven't done anything. What do I mean by that? It's like, okay, I've worked, let's see, what year is it? I've worked like 12 years, full-time, to basically get where I am, right? You have been supported, I don't mean you, I'm saying in this theoretical situation, this person has been supported financially by, let's say, their parents. And they've barely graduated college, and that's it. And I'm supposed to take life advice, business advice from this person and actually value it. No, that's not how it works. If someone had done equal or greater, then I might be like, hold on, let me listen to what you have to say. Like, if you have what I want, or you've been where I want to go, or you've been where I've been, then I listen, because that's actually like worthy of respect. Dude, no one gives a shit like about your entitled opinions, because like opinions and views and values really don't have any weight or substance or value or meaning unless they've actually been put to the test, unless they've actually been used and manifest and produced results. Otherwise, it's just, wow, that's an ancient wisdom to reunite with modern modalities to heal the soul. It's like, what the fuck are you even talking about, dude? Like, yeah, I guess that makes sense if you're high on ayahuasca and like completely, because energetically what that is doing to your body is not good, it's not healthy, it's completely dispersing your energy and taking your inherent immune factors and completely undermining them and just inviting in whatever. So yeah, there's that. If you have cancer or tumors, you're on death's doorstep, you have whatever, or you're very old, late in life, different story. But that's generally not most people, luckily. Fortunately, that's a small minority. That's a different conversation. But it sounds like kind of a dick thing to say, but it's actually inherently true, because it's in some ways like it used to be built into society where like people would respect people that were older, people would respect people that had more experience or had more wisdom or skill than they did. But now people are so deluded and fucking psychotic that they think because, like, for whatever reason, that they somehow are those things. Like, for example, this is a great example. I was giving a talk last week about different concepts and stuff from Neigong Qigong that I was teaching. And I'm talking about processes that take 5 years or so to really get a hang of. And one person in the crowd is doing exactly this while I'm talking. They're like, "Oh yeah, I got that. Oh yeah, I'm doing that. Oh, when you were talking about these things, I was like totally getting it and totally doing it. Like, oh my god, I was getting it, but it also reminded me of all the other things that I was already doing and all the things that I already knew and this and that." And I'm just like, you're fucking insane. So this 5-year process, which there's no guarantees you'll even get, takes a lot of time and energy and work, and pretty much everyone else that's gotten it has put in the time and the energy and work, but you sat here for an hour or 30 minutes and you just like, boom. It's like, yeah, I'm the asshole in this situation. Exactly. It's like, but what do you do in this situation? You smile, you nod, be polite, be nice, be kind, you know, be warm with people, because what else can you do, you know? But that's exactly like what I'm talking about here, the type of attitude and mentality that is really so drastically rampant in the world now. And why is that the case? Because where it started was bullshit. That's why. That's really, if we took like modern spirituality, modern consciousness, it was based in the 60s, 50s and 60s and 70s in America with a psychedelic revolution and dickwads like Tim Leary and Ram Dass and Richard, whatever the fuck, Sheldrake or Schubert, or I don't remember the fucking guy. All these dickwads who were just completely out of their fucking minds. Deeply conditioned with this Judeo-Christian nonsense. Took LSD a few times, had a degree, and were like, oh shit, I just bypassed thousands of years of cultural whatever, and now like I know something. But then that's what I mean. That's what I've been saying. You play that out for a long enough period of time, and people just get crazier and stupider. Now that's a broad blanket statement. That's not true for everyone. They had some good things to say, and the functional aspect is it was basically just a way of exploding things to some degree of openness after they'd been sort of restricted. So that has some functional value, yeah. But again, it was very short-sighted and immature and childish because they weren't looking forward. They were just very reactionary and very deluded by their own chemicals. Which that's kind of pretty much where people are at now. Things haven't really evolved that much further. But people think it has because they think like in various materialistic, superficial terminologies because they're conditioned by this consumerist worldview. So they approach spirituality in the same consumerist way. Like, oh, there's a yoga studio on every corner. There's people who are doing meditation, mindfulness. It's like, yeah, but they're still just as fucking deluded a lot of the time. It's just in a different way. And maybe even worse, because they just added another layer on top of it, which they're not even going to question. So they're like, well, why would I question it? Because it's supposed to be better because it's spiritual and it's version 2.0, and 2.0 is better than 1.0, so why would I even question or get in touch with it? It's like, again, you just took your pre-existing functional foundation, threw a new update on it, and telling yourself, wow, it's amazing. But like, what actual skill is coming out of it? What actual deep level of honesty is coming out of it? Not a lot, because anything that comes out is generally still distorted. Honesty is like, oh, I have to go to a workshop, do radical honesty, and I have to do that to really get in touch with it. It's like, you're fucking crazy, man. Like, if that's what it takes. It's like, I have to whip myself 7 times before I can feel anything. I mean, if that's what it takes. Or like, people go to workshops, I'm doing a radical experiencing, authentic experiencing workshop, And it's like for 2 days they're just crying in a corner, hitting a pillow, or like screaming and processing and getting out their emotions. Like that doesn't actually do a lot past a small cathartic neurotransmitter endorphin kind of way. Because you stretch that out for a long enough period of time, and it really just is not that good for the system or the body. But it's because you approached it like a witch hunt. Oh, I have these negative feelings. I just need to get the negative feelings out, and then I'll be better. So it's like the negative feelings are like the devil, and the good ones are like Jesus. So I just need to get Jesus in me and get the devil out. It's like every fucking thing you do is just the same thing from where you started, because you're on the witch hunt. You were conditioned to believe, oh, there's like evil, and there's like Satan, and there's like good, and there's like Jesus and God. But like if you actually look at the Bible, God kills more people, does more evil shit than Satan. It's like, don't. But then wait, God created everything, so God created Satan, huh? But then God created Adam and Eve. Adam and Eve had 2 sons, and we all descended from that. It's like, what? What the fuck? This is really the Disneyland level of thought that people are like really operating on. And it's just funny because I live in, a progressive city, right? And, but the majority of people, like, you can't say any of these types of things around because they're oppressive with their new agey consciousness, and they're just like have these slogans and jargons just like on memory speed and just and it's just like, dude, you just oppressed yourself with your spiritual bullshit. Like, you're not free, you're not light, you're not happy, you don't have any real sense of joy or connection to life. You just added another layer of misery and morbidity to yourself. It's like, what? Anyways, I'm not trying to be mean. I'm trying to illustrate points in a lot of different ways to actually help us see things in a bit maybe more of a simple way. I don't know. But people are gonna probably get mad, upset, but I mean, whatever. Who gives a shit? Like, it's an opinion. If an opinion is really gonna ruin your day, then then what I'm saying is probably true. If it's just a fucking opinion, it's like, so mean. Just to clarify, mean is the term demeaning from which that word comes from, which means you are putting someone down or somehow saying their value is less, or their right to exist is less, or their sense of self or worth is less. That's what that actually means. That's not what I've actually said or done. What I've said or done is talk about concepts, ideas, approaches, paradigms, and point out functional flaws and things in those which are not in any way, shape, or form demeaning anyone's inherent value or worth. So these are 2 very different things. But what happens is if you say, oh, monotheism is a completely fabricated and made up system and matrix of control to keep people internally repressed and stupefied for the benefit of their corporate overlords. Like, if you say some shit like that, basically what happens is people demean themselves. They mean that somehow they're a piece of shit, or somehow they don't deserve to exist, or somehow they're not worthy. They do that to themselves. So they are mean to themselves as a subsequent result of their own inherent conditioning. It's like, dude, the reason why you believe, the fact that you believe and subscribe to all this is the reason why you treat yourself like shit. And they go together. So me pointing it out is not me being mean, it's me pointing it out and saying a string of words which makes you flagellate yourself. So it's like, you're actually being mean to yourself. because that's what the system trained you to, and conditioned you to do, because it makes you easier to control. It makes you more of an avid consumer for life. And then you breed and produce more consumers. And then you shit on anyone that tries to break you out of that consumerism or anything that reminds you of that. You try to go on the witch hunt and kill them. It's like really funny how that all goes together. But like, if you're not in it, but you're also not subsequently the other side of it, which is some scientism asshole. It's like, well, there's no objectionable double-blind study for this. It's like, dude, you believe in the Big Bang. Like, tons of this shit in science has never been fucking tested. But like, you're like, oh, well, we can't believe in it if there's not been the study. It's like, dude, most of your field is fabricated and based on pure assumption. Not to mention that, but it's a complete, it started from the church, and now it's come back to the church with like the God particle and all this type of bullshit that like people were heralding as scientific achievements. It's like, well, at least they're out with how completely diluted the system and the thought was to begin with. Like, okay. Anyways. But also people will walk around and be like, oh, well, he just said religion's bad, so he must like science. Well, wait, he said science was bad, so he must think religion is bad. I don't understand. Look, the reason why we think in these simplistic, ridiculous ways is because we're looking for, wait, which one's Jesus and which one's Satan? In every situation, our brain is being like, well, wait, which one's Jesus and which one's Satan? But I'm not talking or operating in those ways because obviously, yes, science has done a lot of great things for people. It would be stupid to be like, oh, well, it's all bad and it's all dumb, so should we also just be Luddites? That's just stupid. At the same time, to say the same thing about religion and spiritual things is also a bit of a Luddite kind of stupid things. But that doesn't necessarily rule out that there's tremendously inherent flaws and weaknesses and tremendous contradictions and functional fucking holes in all of it. But they're actually at the core the same thing, if that makes any sense. Anyways, I need to eat some food. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll talk to you soon.